You are battling something right now. It may not be an opponent with a sword, but it is a constant war against yourself, against hesitation, self-doubt, and the endless noise inside your mind. Most people believe the key to focus is to think harder. But the ancient masters knew the opposite. True power comes from learning how to stop thinking completely. This is the goal of Mushin, the state of no mind. To understand this power, you must picture the battlefield. Imagine standing on the edge of a cliff, or facing an opponent swinging a blade at your neck. In that fraction of a second, something strange happens. Time seems to slow down. The noise of the world fades away. You don't have time to think. You don't have time to doubt. You don't have time to be you. You only have time to act. The ancient samurai called this state Mushin, which translates to no mind. It is not a state of stupidity or emptiness. It is the state where the thinker disappears, and only the pure action remains. It is the highest level of mastery a human can achieve. But most of us live on the complete opposite end of this spectrum. We live lives trapped in the noise. We are trapped in a web of hesitation, overthinking, and second-guessing. We replay the past, we fear the future, and in doing so, we miss the only thing that is actually real, the now. But what if you could turn off the noise? What if you could silence the inner critic that questions your every move? What if you could move through life with the effortless, deadly precision of a master swordsman? To understand Mushin, you must first understand the gap. In a normal mind, there is a gap between perception and action. You see something, you think about it, you judge it, you fear it, and then you react. In a sword fight, that gap is death. If you see the sword coming and you think, I should block, you are already dead. The thought takes too long. The samurai trained to close this gap, to remove the middleman, the conscious mind, so that perception and action become one simultaneous event. The moon does not try to reflect on the water. The water does not try to catch the moon's image. It just happens, instantaneously. That is Mushin. Consider the legend of the Zen archer. When a novice picks up a bow, he is worried about everything. He looks at the target and thinks, is it too far? He worries about the wind. He worries about missing. His mind is crowded with desire, the desire to hit the bullseye. And because his mind is crowded, his body is tense. He misses. But the master archer is different. He does not aim at the target. In fact, he barely sees the target. He is not separate from the bow, the arrow, or the wind. He breathes. And in the moment of release, he does not decide to let go. The arrow leaves on its own, like a ripe fruit falling from a tree. The shot is already true before it even hits the wood. This isn't magic. It is biology. It is what happens when you practice something so deeply, so relentlessly, that it bypasses the slow, clumsy, conscious brain and enters the instinct. Now, you might not be holding a sword or a bow, but you are fighting battles every single day. And chances are you are losing many of them. Not because you lack skill, but because you have too much mind. We live in the age of information overload. We are constantly analyzing. Before you send that email, you rewrite it 10 times. Before you start that project, you watch 50 tutorials. Before you speak in a meeting, you rehearse the sentence until it sounds robotic. This is analysis paralysis. It is the opposite of Mushin. It is a state where the mind becomes a prison. You are so obsessed with the outcome, so terrified of making a mistake, that you freeze. You are like a centipede that was asked which leg it moves first, and in trying to think about it, it could no longer walk. So, how do we cultivate no mind in a world designed to keep our minds racing? It starts with a shift in trust. You have to stop trusting your thoughts and start trusting your training. Mushin is not about winging it. It is about preparation. You do the work. You study the craft. You prepare for the presentation. You learn the skills. But when the moment of performance comes, you must fire the analyst. You have to realize that your conscious mind is a slow processor. It is great for planning, but it is terrible for execution. When you are in the conversation, stop planning what you will say next. Just listen. When you are doing the work, stop judging if it's good enough while you are doing it. Just do. Flow state is simply the absence of resistance. It is the absence of you. The biggest enemy of Mushin is the ego. The ego wants credit. The ego wants to control. The ego says, "Look at me doing this." But true mastery is selfless. When you watch a great musician play, they are not there. They are lost in the music. If they suddenly thought, "I am playing this very well," they would miss a note. To reach this state, you must practice letting go. This is the hardest discipline of all. It means letting go of the need to control the outcome. It means accepting that once the arrow leaves the bow, it is no longer yours. If you hit the target, good. If you miss, good. The judgment is just noise. The only thing that matters is the purity of the action itself. Life is chaotic. It throws curveballs. It moves fast. If you try to calculate every step, you will stumble. Stop trying to force the result. Stop gripping the steering wheel so tight that your knuckles turn white. Do the work. Trust the process. And then, step back. Enter the void. Become the arrow. Move without hesitation. Because when the mind stops, the true power begins.